Hi, Riza. How
Hello. Mm,
are you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Um, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So, it looks like you're the only one that showed up for today's webinar.
Oh gosh. Well, that's
So,
okay.
what were you saying?
I was saying that's okay. With me, I don't know how it works with you.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's completely fine. I've been doing some posting on top of in the meetup link,
Mhm.
for some items. So, what I want to do is I'll just give you the opportunity to kind of ask me about what your questions are, and then we can go through those questions as far as the mindful dating signature journey and what you're looking for. We can
Yeah.
tailor it for you.
Okay. So I should give you sort of the questions I might have, or
Yeah, just tell me. You can tell me a little bit about yourself,
Mhm.
the reason why you joined, and also if there's anything, if you've done anything like if you've done any, what is it called, coaching services or invested in wellness items in the last, I don't know, 90 days.
Yeah, not really. I, I'm actually just contemplating on, how I would approach dating.
Hmm.
Um, because I've been married for almost 30 years and I'm trying to get out of that marriage. It's been a very like separate experience. So it's not even like in on paper we're married, but otherwise I'm very, very separate and we haven't really been like a couple or a relationship. It's just been very separate. Um, so before I got married, I sort of met people and along the way someone would you know, um, ask me out or something. And then I would never really have gone out dating, like to look for someone. So
Hmm.
I didn't really know, how to choose someone or what I was looking for. Um, and I think I'm kind of easily like, I hate to say the word people pleaser because I'm also in some ways not at all that. But I think when it comes to a relationship, it's easy for me to just kind of like want to make sure the other person's happy. And then I'm kind of always hoping that the other person has that equal amount. So then it doesn't become people pleasing to someone, who's not doing it back. Um, but if that person isn't, then it, kind of gets a little tricky. And that's what I had in this particular relationship. So I'm looking to make sure that I don't fall into some of those things that make it so I don't really remember myself and my needs and my interests and, all that. I've kind of put myself on the back burner for most of my life. So I
Hmm.
don't want to make that mistake in a new relationship.
I hear you. So it's more of a, preliminary kind of like, I noticed that these are some patterns that I have, and
Mhm.
I'm looking to find ways to, excuse me, not get myself in the same situation that I've been in before.
Mhm.
Um, and so, have you been actively dating right now?
No, and, I mean, during my marriage, at one point, I had discussed with my husband that I was going to have another relationship because there was somebody who was interested in, and because we weren't really a couple, I tried that. But again,
Mhm.
I didn't really choose that person, and I think when someone just kind of comes along and chooses me, I'm not too critical of what or specific about, I guess, what I'm looking for. Um,
Mhm.
so I haven't really tried to go out. And the only time I actually actively went to look for someone to date was when I did an online thing, and that's how I met my husband. And I
Okay.
think I picked for the wrong reasons. So that could be, um, a sign of not really knowing what what I should be looking for more.
So, would it be safe to say, like, I definitely hear, kind of wanting some clarity within the dating experience, wanting to understand, unpack more of the patterns where they came from so that they don't show back up again. And then, what was the other thing that I heard? Um, Knowing who it is or what it is that you want, out of a relationship and getting some reciprocal, making sure that it's someone that's reciprocal. So I hear a little bit of like, I'm afraid of my choices and because I'm not clear on what it is that I want, and this is an adventure that I'm embarking on and I'm looking for some guidance. Let me know where I'm missing something or I can fill in some gaps for you, or you can fill in some gaps for me.
Yeah, 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 that was pretty much right what I was saying. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's kind of like when I first met my husband, I was kind of in that place where I felt pretty strong. It's where I
Mhm.
kind of knew that I knew what I wanted, and in fact, I talked about it a lot. So I kind of knew exactly what I wanted. Um, it turned out, unfortunately, that he's a like covert narcissist. I don't know if you're familiar with that
I am.
type of thing, but so none of what I had discussed with him happened. It's almost the opposite because he kind of fought me against it. So now I sort of know what I want, um, but I want to make sure they don't. I guess I get the wool pulled over my eyes pretty easily, so I don't want
Mhm.
to fall into that. Um, and I have an ex-boyfriend who is kind of interested in getting together. We were together for 6 years, and when I look at that, I'm like, oh, it's familiar. I know it'd be very like a lot of fun because he's a really fun person, but he isn't. Like I left for a reason. Like he's probably not good for me at all. Um, it's better than this for sure. So I guess it's always going to be better. But I'm almost like thinking, why would I even entertain the thought? Because I think going into that is going to be compromising what I want because he's very, um, like he's stronger in the way that he's, what do you call it, more dominant. And I think that's the mistake of like, if I see that, I kind of admire that, but not when somebody kind of doesn't help notice that what the other person needs.
Yeah, so it's kind of, going through that place of like, this dating scenario scares me. I know I'm about to get out of my marriage,
Hmm.
but I found something familiar that means that I don't have to try so hard. And
Hmm.
at the same time, it's like I don't think this is probably a good idea. I don't trust my decisions. Um,
Hmm.
what was I guess the question would be is what were you looking to understand about the mindful dating journey when you signed up to join this webinar?
Hmm. I guess maybe some known patterns that people do, if they do fall into the same type, how they can recognize that or see, what it means about themselves, and how they can avoid, falling into doing the same thing again,
Mhm,
and just kind of maybe some general advice, dating and especially like the online thing, meeting the person I did. I After reading what I read, I thought, oh, okay, this is clearly what I want. But I didn't realize that someone would kind of not tell the truth, which I should now. I almost laugh when I say that, but back 30 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want, and so I'm also autistic. So whatever somebody says or writes, I'm gonna just hold on to that. I take it literally, and I didn't know that people, um, obviously some people exaggerate a little bit, or they might kind of not say exactly what is the truth, but I didn't know someone could almost turn it around, play games and things like that. So I want to avoid falling into that, especially online, because I think that when if I had met this person in person, I don't think I would have continued because I was going from what he wrote in his profile, and I should have just trusted my gut more when we were in person.
yeah. So I can give you some tips off the top.
Mhm.
Um, And they're not going to be kind of the, groundbreaking tips. It probably be reaffirming some stuff that you've already realized.
Mhm.
In today's dating scene, 65% of people on the dating apps or online are in relationships. And then you can kind of cross over that and realize like a lot of the people who are showing up on apps or online, meetings aren't particularly who they are presenting or showing up to be.
Mhm.
Um, and so um, that's one thing. The other thing is getting to a place where you trust yourself, trust yourself, your gut, and that is a third eye kind
Mhm.
of imbalance that is showing up there. Um, what else is there? As far as like dating in the space that you're in, I would say this. You mentioned the guy that you dated for like 6 years. Was
Mhm.
that 6 years, you know, post your 30-year relationship?
No, it was right before.
So it's been 36 years.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
become somebody different, and what you remember about him has shaped him into someone extremely different as well. And I want to affirm that there was likely a reason why it didn't work. Um, and so um, being able to get to a place where you start to acclimate and find out who you are, what it
Mhm.
is that you want, what you align with, without dating from a sense of survival and trauma, being like clear, confident, trusting yourself, loving yourself, and then going into spaces that align with what it is that you want once you become clear, right? Because a lot of people they come in and they're in your situation. I've been married 2 or 3 times and divorced,
Mhm.
and I keep having these patterns. And so just because we notice them, they don't necessarily stop.
Mhm.
Um, they are still there because uh, our nervous system, our brains project out what it is that we need to heal. And usually when that is being projected is something that we need to look inside for.
Mhm.
So you have a question?
Nope, not yet. Mhm. Go ahead. Mhm.
So I'll go through um, I'll go through the mindful dating journey, but before I do that, um, I want to ask you a little bit about what it is that would be valuable to walk away from here today with, and then yeah, that's the question. What would be valuable for you to kind of say like, hey, I'm super happy that I joined that meeting and I had a conversation with Shane and I'm clear on what I need to do next.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe something that kind of tells me um, a few of the first steps I might need to do. Like, I know it's not good to date right after you have a divorce or something, even though I kind of felt single forever here. um, and whether I should try the online thing or try to just meet people in person, um, and then figure out, like, because I'm in that pre dating, like it's almost like how to put myself out there now for as a like somebody who could be looking for friends or something, so people can meet each other as friends, and then I could turn that into the dating group once I'm like free. Unless, like, I'm always hoping that someone else would be accepting of starting something while I'm in this, but I can't really expect that of anyone because that's not really fair. Even though I know I'm not connected to this other person, they might not, and I don't want to start it with something that's already kind of not um, clear and trust. I want that person to know that they can trust me.
I totally hear you, and I get where you're looking for. So what I would say first is heal,
Mm,
heal. Feel so that you're clear and can show up authentically and attract from where you are, someone that is aligned. And I'll go through um, the mindful dating journey. So, the presentation so that you can become a little bit clear on why I say that. And,
Mhm.
I'm biased because I created this whole thing so that people would align with themselves so that they don't find themselves in marriage number two, divorce number two, and like, "Ugh, I did it again."
Mhm.
Um, Singing Britney Spears. Oops. I did it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So, this is mindful dating, attract love without losing yourself.
Mhm.
And people likely join the webinar for one of three reasons. The dating process is affecting their physical and mental health, and they're feeling hopeless. They've noticed that they keep having the same experiences or meeting the same people who don't align with them.
Mhm.
Or you've noticed that your lack of confidence is a barrier that's stopping you from dating.
Mhm.
Also, want to add in that um, thought process of clarity, right? Clarity gives you confidence. So the
Mhm.
day that's story driven, this is a story driven experience where talk about love, attracting love without losing yourself and breaking repeated patterns. So I'll go
Mhm.
over some stories from folks who are like you, who've already started their mindful dating journeys and have healthy aligned partners.
Mhm.
So there's going to be some parts where I'll ask you a couple questions because you're here.
Okay.
And then at the end, I will extend the offer that I have for you to work with me if that is a fit.
Okay.
So I have two types of people that come into these webinars every time that they come in. And the one person is a participant. They listen, they interact, they reflect, and then they act immediately. And those are the people who experience shifts and results, and in some cases, instantly, others in about 6 months or less. And then there's a watcher. What they do is they sit back, listening in the back and defending themselves in their heads,
Mhm.
because it's a very intense webinar. And they do that the whole entire webinar. And what they do is they leave and they promise themselves to do something about it, and
Mhm.
then it gets added to their to-do list, and it's at the end. But what they do is they continue to put their needs before others, and
Mhm.
that person is our overgiver.
Mhm.
So some people choose to start now and become the one who shifts, heals, and aligns with their ideal partner,
Mhm.
and others, like I said, they put it at the end of the wait list.
Mm. Okay.
So if you read through these quotes, they are quotes from folks who are
Oh,
like you, who
sorry, my daughter's just calling me. 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Yes, honey. I'm just on a little webinar thing.
Oh, okay.
But I'll be
I just
done.
wanted to show you mine.
Oh, okay. And
You're on
it's
the phone.
half an hour good?
You're on the phone.
Yeah, no, it's on the
Oh,
computer.
okay. So, okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You sound so gentle
Oh,
with you.
that's good.
So these are quotes from folks who are just like you,
Mhm.
who've been where you are, and others who have gone and done their journey, and they're in healthy, energetically aligned relationships with their ideal partner.
Mhm.
So take a moment to read through the responses, and you can tell me if any of these relate to you.
Okay. Um, let's see. The first one, not because when I did have different relationships before marriage, I had so many different types of people and relationships, but they were all more positive than this one.
Mhm.
Um, I don't really have the second one either. I would say the third one, I'm successful and strong, but I'm tired of being strong. I don't know if I'd say I'm successful, but I think I'm enough, successful enough, whatever. And I've had to be really strong in this relationship. like way, way stronger, just to get through it and to, get through a trauma and all that kind of stuff that I never really experienced before. And then also try to like approach life with this person and all the plans that we had talked about with having kids and all, like basically the life story, and then find out it's completely reversed. So, and that one resonates because I'm definitely can be strong, but I would love for the other person to have at least the same amount or more of strength, because like I'm kind of like pooped out. Let's see, the one that says I'm tired of giving my all and feeling empty. Yeah, that I can relate to also. I can hold a job, but not a relationship. I think I'm pretty good at holding relationships.
Mm.
And
And what about I want to be loved without losing myself?
which one? Oh, the last one. I want to be loved without losing myself. Yeah, that one is maybe even the biggest one, because
Mhm.
I tend to kind of, put myself to the side. And then at one point I'm like, man, I never got to do the things I wanted to do, but that person did. Or I kept helping that person get, what they needed, supported them, whatever. And then didn't really get the other side in return.
Totally hear you. And so this is so you're in alignment with some of the reasons why people come. And thank you so much for sharing. So we can talk about why this happens with this cycle of pain.
Mhm.
So when you're dating from survival, this is likely the cycle of pain.
Mhm.
And obviously you're getting ready to date again, you'll be able to see some of what shows up in that cycle of pain inside of the relationship, and the reason why you're looking to be proactive about not having the same situation again.
Mhm.
So in the cycle of pain, what is likely happening is that this is the experience that you're experiencing, you could, or you're trying to avoid experiencing over and over again. And a lot of people gaslight themselves into the cycle. So
Mhm.
you start out by overgiving and saying what a client said. Maybe if I loved them harder, fill in the blank, right? Like if I do more, if I
Mhm.
love them harder, if I show. And then what comes next is that you start to negotiate your needs for theirs, and
Mhm.
then the self abandonment kicks in.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if you need support or you find yourself tired. You
Mhm.
always end up supporting others or your partners over yourself. And then the last part of that cycle is the resentment kicks in. And you
Mhm.
find yourself crashing out inside. Maybe you call yourself stupid, dumb, can't believe you did this. Or you start to scream at them saying, why don't you ever choose me? Why don't you ever take care of me or love me?
Mhm.
And then you leave. And this also shows up in marriages before they eventually have a divorce. But you
Mhm.
leave and you say, never again. And then the cycle repeats itself all over.
Mhm.
Um, so this is our cycle of pain. Is there anything here that you can relate to?
Um, yeah, kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even that little saying at the bottom, I thought I was healing, but I was just surviving better. I guess, it's so easy to think that you like set out to doing something like healing and you're doing it sort of, but then like you were saying at one point, you sort of, was it the word negotiate you used, like kind of,
Yeah, you gaslight yourself. You start to negotiate and gaslight yourself into, you
mhm.
know,
Yeah,
"Oh,
so
I
that,
do it better. I messed up a little bit over there," as opposed to, acknowledging your feelings.
yeah. Yeah, and for me, it's very easy to lose track of myself because I can easily say like, okay, I got to definitely do this, this, and this, and it'll be clear what I need to do, and then I'll easily lose track because somebody else's presence somehow feels stronger, and then I kind of disappear into the background.
Yeah, and so we wanna make sure, like, that you're aware, like, you're able to actively be aware of how this shows up, right? Because that's the first thing is It's like, not having that affirmation or awareness, like, oh, these are the problems.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, pardon?
I said that's for sure.
Mhm. So, what you'll learn from in or with mindful dating is that you don't attract what you want. What you attract is what your energy aligns with.
Mm,
So, your inner state will dictate your outward experience.
mm,
I want to repeat that again. How you're feeling inside about yourself, how you're showing up in relationships, how you show up for yourself as a relationship, your energy when you look in the mirror, um, when you think about going out and dating somebody, and those insecurities, that inner state will dictate your outward experience. And
mm,
so it's likely that you're wearing a mask and your unhealed traumas are the frequencies that's causing your life and relationship experiences.
mm,
So you may say, how does this work, Shane?
mm,
At that time that your mother or father or teacher said you wouldn't amount to anything, or you watched your parents fight, or you had a traumatic reaction to an event that happened to you. It was at that point that you agreed to something, and it's usually from either fear or shame, and it's still there. And that's what a lot of people are seeking partnerships or dating from.
mm,
So, how do you get from dating from pain to peace? And what does a healthy cycle of healing look like?
mm,
So, the first part is you want to heal your energy and release any of that stored trauma that's causing pain. And what this does is this opens up the space for new possibilities. Um, and when that space is crowded with trauma or insecurities or or experiences that don't align with what it is that you want, find that you continue to attract like a magnet those experiences. But when you start
mhm,
to heal the energy and release it, you'll notice that you start to align with different um, experiences that energy, those frequencies attract different. And a lot of folks start with the self-led meditations or groups with personalized signature mindful dating journey.
mhm,
And then you learn to set clear boundaries to protect yourself, protect your peace, protect your heart. You learn how to honor them, right? Because one thing to know what your boundaries are is another thing when you start to gaslight yourself um, into not protecting them. So we teach you how to honor them. And that happens in the workshop and the personalized mindful dating journey. The
mhm,
next thing is that you're able to release the old patterns that got you here by
mhm,
breaking the cycles of learned behaviors and survival strategies. So a
mhm,
lot of the clients that I meet with are dating from survival
mhm,
and lack of clarity.
mhm,
So this is where you go from performing uh, to aligning with love that honors everything that you are and you want.
mhm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So my name is Shane.
Is that
What
you?
you're going to say? Yeah. No.
That's a beautiful picture. Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm,
It was a good prompt. So when I write these up and then I put it into Gamma to
mhm,
create them, the Gamma does pictures and it doesn't allow me to put in my own pictures.
mm.
Uh, so I tell to put something that's close to
Yeah. Well, both pictures look beautiful, what I'm seeing on the screen and this other one.
yours.
Mhm,
So I'm Shane Campbell. I'm a published author, international speaker, lifestyle and relationship architect, a
mhm,
master yoga certified yoga instructor, and the creator of mindful dating. So what
mhm,
I do is I help people unpack and resolve painful patterns and attract aligned, loving partners. And my belief in all of this is that the greatest form of love is to help people heal from the root and free them so that they can finally live a life that aligns with their mind, body, soul, and energy.
mm,
I work with high performing professionals and high profile professionals just like you.
mhm,
And what I want to say is when you let your blockages go and open up, that's when you start to track what it is that you're looking for,
Mm,
what you're really, really looking for. And so 90% of my clients are having healthy dating experiences, or they're already in loving and aligned relationships.
mm. Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the chakra system, which is the framework that we work from. So when it comes to patterns, our energy is rooted within the chakras, and these are the guiding forces that tell us the story of what's happening when we're out of energetic alignment. So each of our chakras govern a portion or part of our lives. And when they're blocked or imbalanced, that's the telltale sign of why we're attracting certain experiences. So
Mm,
let's talk a little bit about the chakras since I've heard some of your stories today. But
okay.
kind of glance through this and see if you could find a couple. Actually, I'll go through it and let you know what I've already understood that's blocked inside of your chakras.
Mhm,
Um, the root chakra. The root chakra says like, I'm unstable, I don't really trust, I don't feel safe inside of these relationships or my choices around relationships. And that is in direct correlation to the third eye. I
mhm,
don't know that I trust myself to make the right decision for me. And then there's the solar plexus where the confidence is. It's like, how do I show up as myself?
mhm,
And so the root talks about grounding, safety, making sure all of your needs are being met, but also, kind of being in that space where you're a little wobbly. And so
mhm,
when it's balanced, you're able to say, okay, I am grounded in myself. Whether or not this works out, I'm confident. Solar plexus in my decision to choose the right person for me, which also correlates with the third eye. And the third eye is about, our gut, our intuition. And
mhm,
when it's blocked, it's like, I don't know about this. I got that inkling about what it is that I wanted to do, or that this person probably wasn't a good fit. And I overrode it and started to gaslight myself into being in this. And oh God, now I don't, trust myself to make healthy decisions for me.
mhm,
Um, yeah. So let's see. And the throat chakra we haven't. It seems like your throat chakra is kind of balanced, but it could not be, right? Because if your third eye chakra is in your solar plexus, is saying like, I'm not sure about my ability to attract line partners.
mhm,
Then the question is, were you able to speak up for your needs, right? Like
mhm,
a lot of times we think that we have a good way of speaking up for ourselves, but when it really matters, we kind of go into like this mute state of like, if I say something, I'm gonna rock the boat and I'm gonna mess it up.
mhm,
And so the throat chakra works a little both ways. It's like being able to actively listen, but then also speak.
mhm. Okay.
And so this is the system in which we want to make sure that is aligned energetically and
Mhm,
balanced so that you're attracting from balanced chakras or energetic spaces within yourself.
mhm. Okay.
Any questions about that?
Um, Actually, I guess I'm looking at the last one. That one I feel the most confident about, that I do trust that it can feel easy. I don't think I have all the abilities to make it feel easy yet. I'm looking at the other things, but I definitely have the faith. And I know I've felt in different times when things were right, with certain combinations. But yeah, I think this is pointing out a lot of things like the intuition thing. I had seen red flags, like say with this relationship, but I didn't know what the red flags meant. So I think now that I'm a little more informed of like if someone does this or someone does that, it means that, before I would kind of excuse them away and say like, well, he's doing it because of that. And then by excusing it, I didn't like, I think I would have named it if I would have known what it was, but because I didn't know exactly what it was, I couldn't name it. So I ended up ignoring ignoring like doing something about it, even though the intuition was kind of there. It just wasn't telling me I wasn't getting a clear enough picture. So I guess that third eye thing definitely is something I need to focus in on. And then I think most of the other ones also, I kind of see little areas for each one of them. I mean, that root with safety. I think I normally attract a pretty safe person. Again, in this case, it was like two personalities, like one, what was presented seemed extremely safe. So I was basing it on that, and that didn't turn out to be the case. But in general, if they're not a covert narcissist, then they're usually I'm pretty good at attracting safe types of people.
Yeah. So the thing with the narcissism and attracting them, it goes back to a lot of what I do in mindful dating goes back to childhood traumas, and we're able to trace that back to a parent that had the tendencies or a breakdown inside of the confidence and needing to prove yourself, and then there's the other things of like showing up as like the person that gets everything done for everybody, right? And that goes back also to childhood, where you kind of had to prove to the parents. And I'm generalizing here because I'm not aware of your case. But excuse me, my voice is going out.
Oh, you've probably been talking a lot, right?
No, it's allergies. It's monsoon season here right now. But there, I mean, that can be impacted in a lot of different ways. But what I would want to kind of give you as a takeaway from this section per se is that we can label things as red flags, but our body will always tell us how we feel about it. When you talk about the gut, right? Like what is showing up in my gut experience? Am I cringing? Is my jaw locking? Am I feeling tense inside of my body? And am I feeling fear? And that's what I want to make sure that my clients are very, very aware of, is being inside of their body, so their body can tell them, like, I don't need to understand what is happening. I don't feel comfortable inside of myself and my body with this. And so I'm disengaging.
Okay.
So the first act of power is awareness and naming the pain out loud. And then here are 3 examples of folks who started out where you are today and got results during and after completing their mindful dating journey. So the first one is she shrunk to get more attention, and when it didn't work, she would end up heartbroken. And that was her cycle. So now she's choosing herself and attracting men who are choosing her. And these experiences don't show up in relationships. What we've learned is that they begin to show up in multiple areas of your life, whether that's work, health, familial relationships, mental health, and then also how you see yourself and your ability to grow. And they also don't go away because you refuse to face them. So a lot of people pack them down. And then there's the guy, he realized that he couldn't distract himself forever. He had a heartbreak, decided to distract himself, and now he's unblocking what got him here. So he's getting better every day, but wishes that he'd started sooner, and because numbing and ignoring is not a solution.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that come to these webinars, I collect the information or read through what it is that they say. And they mentioned that the cost of nothing will cause peace, time, and heartbreak. And one person said that it cost them $1 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was being completely honest. A lot of times people are like, it'll cost me my peace, my time, and heartbreak. But it was a woman who said, like, I had a financial cost, and I believe she probably had a divorce that cost her a ton of money. So this mother's pattern I want to talk about. It's shown up in a few sessions. So I get a message where a mother notices that her child has started or is in an abusive relationship, and they'll come to the webinar to get help for that child.
Mhm.
And what they realize is that um, I'm the one that displayed or taught my kid that this is what healthy or what relationships should look like.
Mhm.
And after going through the webinar, I generally learned that until I heal and start to love myself from a healthy perspective, then my child will continue to repeat these same patterns. So she had to give her child a blueprint, of self-love, healthy relationships, or she would continue to see her child go through those abusive patterns that she'd already exemplified for her kids. And that is until she did something new. And the thing is being powerless in that situation and only being able to watch.
Mhm.
So doing nothing has a painful cost.
Mhm.
And a lot of people think that that it only affects them. But what happens is that you eventually learn that you've taught your children this.
Mhm.
So the good thing is that she's done the workshops and is actively healing her patterns, but it's a hard realization. And so the question is, what is the cost of doing nothing for you?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think mine is the waiting game. I keep waiting for that right moment, but I
It's
don't
like
really,
time.
yeah, action. Mhm.
So I want to talk about one of my clients, Charlie. So
Mhm.
Charlie went from a fear of abandonment to aligned love. And Charlie's a trans man. So he started out as a woman and then he transitioned into a man. But he
Mhm.
started his mindful dating journey, and this is cliff notes of how it went. So in the beginning, he talked to us about experiencing a lot of abuse, abandonment, rejection that he suffered from his parents, or both of his parents, and a lot of people in his family. And he said, I think my fear of abandonment, I used to feel like I wasn't worthy of love, that I'd always be alone.
Mhm.
So he had a realization after he'd done the work. So this was not Charlie's first experience in doing something self-help wise. So he'd already started doing some of the work with some other courses that people, and by the time he gets to mindful dating, his mindful dating journey starts to really unpack. And so after he did the inner work within the mindful dating framework, he said, now I have that for myself, right? Like that
Mhm.
love that he wanted. I love myself. I don't need external validation. And I can just come and show up as I am.
Mhm. That's great.
Yeah.
How long
So
did it take him?
pardon?
How long did it take him to get to that? I guess it's hard to say, right? How long something like that takes.
And within mindful dating, Charlie was able to come through his clarity process quite quickly. And Charlie got results is at the moment that he was able to vocalize what it was that he was experiencing.
Mhm.
Like at the end of that particular event that he had asking
Oh,
him out
I
on a
think you
date.
froze.
And pardon?
You froze for a moment, but now you're back again.
Oh, it's probably my VPN. So Charlie was able to experience results quite quickly. So
Mhm.
we started his journey, and then by the end, where he was, kind of having this discussion, this verbalization of what it was that he wanted and where he was, and
Mhm.
what he was clear on. He got a date request. Like he had a girl send him a message and invite him out on a date. And from being a girl to transitioning to a guy, he's never been, asked out on a date. And so that happened. And Charlie's right now in a relationship with that girl. And so that's where he gets to kind of this last message. And he said, after this, I actually found the girl I've been holding out for with all of my needs met as a base of how she shows love. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So Charlie's one of those really beautiful examples of someone that's like, I don't want to repeat any patterns. And I've been holding out, for different reasons because I feel like I'm broken, I'm not good enough, and also needing to do the work. But once he became clear and that energy started to align with what his words are saying, then he was able to align with the partner that he was like, oh my God, can't believe. He calls me every day, often, not every day, but often says, I can't believe this, Shane. Thank you so much. So it differs, right? Like it differs through everybody's journey is personal. But everybody gets results. We have 2 more slides, and then you can ask me any questions, and we can go. Go see your kid.
Yeah.
Trying to see what's happening. Well, okay. So I have 5 promises that you'll have as outcomes when you start your mindful dating journey. So better relationships, feeling emotionally safe with yourself and in dating. Then there's more clarity and confidence. So you become clear on who you are, what you want, and your dating will start to mirror that. The other one is better intimacy. Because you're clear, you feel safe inside of yourself, and you're able to clearly communicate your needs, wants, and desires. You start to align with folks who match that. And that's the way that you're able to show up as your authentic self. And then finally feel loved and appreciated for who you are. And that takes intimacy to, beautiful and amazing levels. So what happens is that you start to finally experience what it truly feels like to be peaceful inside of yourself and also peaceful inside of love. So imagine that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
So I want to say this: if you're not looking to repeat patterns or waste your time or lose your peace, standards, boundaries, and you want more peace, healthy connections, happiness, and fulfillment in your relationships, the invitation is to start your personalized mindful dating journey now. And how does that look? You work with me for 8 weeks. It's one-on-one tailored sessions with your goals, personalized chakra healing, coaching, and also somatic movement. The investment is €2,444. And the next step is to book a complimentary call so we can kind of go through a little bit more of what it is that you're looking for and create and align your journey. Also see if this is a fit for you. So I put the link for a consult inside of the chat.
Okay.
And then my last question is, what, if anything, would be missing inside of what we've talked about today that I can clear up for you?
Yeah, I don't feel that there is anything missing. I mean, first, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I think the areas that you covered were such good basic, like ground level things to have before one starts dating. There's so many other subjects of types of like those dating apps that I was talking about, or how somebody meets people, all that kind of stuff. But I like that you really start with and focus on these kind of like grounding foundational things, because without that you can't really have a whole lot of success, you know. So yeah, that was good hearing about each one of those things, and kind of not a refresher, but like a reminder of things that are always in the back of people's minds, like, oh, should do this, should do that. But it does take something more to move them forward and for people to actually take action to make them happen. So I found that really beneficial.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to make sure that it's comprehensive, it's easily understood, and then that we are getting results, because results is my business card. You know, I can do a ton of these and they can relate to people, but if my clients aren't getting results, it makes no difference. So, yeah, I'm glad that you can, you know, see some things that you relate to and that you can leverage to help you, and hopefully
Mhm.
we'll meet again.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You said it's in the chat. But I don't see anything in a chat. So maybe if you
I
see
have
my email, yeah, I don't even see how to put a chat up there for some reason. At the bottom, I'm looking at all the different options.
mhm. Let me send it to you. Can I send it to you in Meetup?
I think so, or just my email somehow.
Ah, I don't know your email, but if you can give it to me,
Okay.
I can
Um,
definitely send you an email.
let's see. It's R